Stinky
Kongversation.
Ape
Kongversation.
Summer Stinky Ape Summer. Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. Rise and shine, my lovelies, because Stinky Ape Summer is here. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I am known as Matt Cornah. Hello.
Hello, Matt! Yay!
Hiya.
Woo!
Hey, it's me.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm so excited so tickled. My whole body is just having the invisible fingers wiggling all over it because we are doing this episode live on twitch.tv/DKVine, but we are doing it at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's 1 p.m. your time, Matt. And for those of you who can do the time zone math, that is 5 a.m. Pacific time. Out in California, it is 5 in the morning. So why are we doing this at such an odd time for a good bulk of our audience? Well,
I can't help but feel partially responsible.
Matt, it's not your fault, and I will not have you speak ill of yourself. Not on Stinky Ape Summer, because there's two primary reasons that we are doing it this early. The Switch 2 comes out today. It is out. It is out in the wild. It is contaminating people's attention spans today. And the way I view it, right, there are two possibilities. People are either still up after getting it at midnight, in person at a store or what have you, and they're still up after maybe binging it for a couple of hours or just installing the first day upload, the patch or whatever, the download, the data package that takes about 10 hours. Maybe they're still up monitoring it and they need something to pass the time. Or people are waiting for it to be delivered and they don't want to leave their front doors. They're guarding it. They're watching out for the delivery driver and they need something to pass the time. And I thought it would be more fitting to do this episode right at the crack of day, at least for the Americas, than it would be to do it, at a more reasonable hour. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, Terminally Online 2024 has been in touch, and they say this is really early for a live conversation. So that is correct. It is. It is. I'm sorry, Terminally Online 2024.
Yeah, I'm glad you worked out your online life balance in 2025. I'm glad you put that in the past. We are streaming this live on Twitch. And March Rose has joined us. Cameron has joined us. Cameron says, guess who has two thumbs and a completely fucked up sleep schedule? Gigastrike is here, waiting inside their mailbox like SpongeBob. I'm so old. I've lamented this in the past, Matt. I am 1 year too old to understand the SpongeBob references. 1 year. I missed it by that much.
1 year.
Yeah.
That's a cartoon, isn't it?
It's a cartoon, yeah. I mean, maybe, they might be referring to their friend SpongeBob, who likes to sit in mailboxes.
Right. Okay.
So I got up at 5 in the morning. I took 2 caffeine pills. So I'm ready to go. And yeah, this feels like we're Nintendo. It feels like we're doing a Nintendo Direct and making people tune in at just a horrid time. but it's 1 in the afternoon for you, Matt, and I think that's great. And
It's great for me.
Speaking of Matt, how about
Yes.
that new Stinky Ape Summer theme song?
How about that? Yeah.
How about
Goes
that?
on for too long, doesn't it? Goes on for way too long. But hopefully that will compensate for if we run out of things to say. At least the episode will be longer just by dint of the theme tune length.
Yeah.
I could make it longer.
I mean, maybe
Just
each
an
year.
endless tropical groove.
Yeah, maybe each year you just add a little bit more, like the sound of
Yeah.
a pina colada
Just
being
not-
poured.
Yeah. Like Rupert Holmes.
So, as I said, we'll be checking in with our live stream. If anyone wakes up.
Yes, well, I just reposted your post on Blue Sky on my Blue Sky, so I'm expecting my millions of followers to join us.
Yes.
Millions of followers.
I'm appreciative of your large fan base, Matt. But
Like tens of followers.
go ahead and guzzle your morning coffee, or if you're checking in, at work after your lunch break, make sure your boss doesn't pass by. But we'll be looking in and discussing.
If your boss finds out you're listening to this, they are going to be furious. That's a sackable offense.
Yeah.
NSFW.
Your boss
Nucifer.
Your boss would be very disappointed that you are listening to the conversation without them.
That's true, yes. Not safe for listening without your boss, it should be.
So, through this episode, I am going to be engaging in a little practice, Matt, because as I previously shared on the conversation, I was able to secure a Switch 2 pre-order from BestBuy.com just before the initial orders were cut off. I got through their virtual queue, not just the 11th hour, but with seconds to spare. Seconds after I had gotten through, I had gotten it confirmed that I had one pre-ordered, they cut them off entirely. So,
yeah. By the way, before you carry on with the story, I'd just like to request that you write this. I think this is important, what you're talking about now, and I think it should be a matter of record. And I think what you need to do is write a feature for the site about your Switch 2 reservation experience.
Matt, I'm not a kid anymore. What I would do is I would put it in my memoirs.
Okay. It's a good idea.
A book full of my pre-order experiences for everything.
That's a good idea. Hey, anyone on the live chat, can you please suggest titles for Hyle's memoir, please? That's Hyle's memoir.
Yeah, let us know what my memoirs should be called in the live stream. So, the horrible, horrible frenzy that was pre-order night, I think it was only really severe in the Americas. I know from the Europeans and Australians in our circle, it was pretty stress-free for all of you. And I'll ask you about your pre-order situation, Matt, in just a second. But I wasn't being picky because I just needed to secure a Nintendo Switch for Donkey Kong Bananza's release on July 17th. That's all. Like Mario Kart World,
Right.
The timing, everything was ancillary to just ensuring I would have a Switch 2 by July 17th.
I'm interested to know, do you think you would have even ordered one on release day had it not been for the Donkey Kong announcement? I don't think I would have done.
I don't think
Spoilers for
I
me
would
talking
have.
about
No, just judging from my own personal history, I'm pretty sure I would have just wrote it out, even though it would mean I couldn't discuss Mario Kart World for DK Vine, which seems like a grievous oversight. But let's be honest, it's an expensive console. I don't have much in the way of money, and I could just kick that can down the road, until we have the big Donkey Kong announcement. But we got the big Donkey Kong announcement, the Nintendo Direct that kicked off the Switch 2 era. So, I just needed a Switch 2. So it didn't matter the bundle, the standalone console. I didn't care. I just needed to get one. Whichever one I could get, that's what I was going to walk away with. And indeed, it was the standalone console I was able to pre-order. At various times, I had the bundle in my cart, couldn't get it. And then I would go back to the standalone console, couldn't get it. Finally, I got the standalone console. But Matt, what was your Switch 2 pre-order drama?
Oh, yeah, it's such a nightmare, isn't it? So, as you said before, pre-orders for the Switch 2 in the UK, I think they opened maybe a few weeks before they did in America, right? A couple of weeks maybe, I can't remember. I'm not showing off. But I remember like being aware that they were happening and not really thinking anything of it. So, yeah, so I guess that would have been back in April. Donkey Kong Bananza wasn't coming out until July. So I thought, loads of time. Loads of time. So at this point, like I was sort of half referencing, I was of the mindset that I wasn't going to pre-order. My plan was I was probably going to pick one up in July for Bananza, but only probably. By the way, eagle-eared listeners might have noticed the peculiar way I'm pronouncing the name of the Donkey Kong game. I might come to that later. Bananza. Okay. But anyway, so it was really because of what you went through with your experience, like the stress levels on display from my American DK Vine friends. When the pre-orders opened over there, I thought, oh, it might actually be quite difficult to get hold of one of these things. It hadn't crossed my mind that I'd have any trouble. So, yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? When I thought it'd be easy to get one, I wasn't bothered. But as soon as I realised there might be a demand for it, I thought it was going to be tricky. Then I really wanted one. So, yeah, once I realised that you lot were having trouble, I thought, right, I'd better get one pre-ordered then. How hard can it be?
Yeah. How hard was it?
It must have been 2 solid weeks of like frantically refreshing various game and toy shops pre-order pages. Also attempting to exploit a glitch on the Amazon checkout page. I don't know if you heard about this. Apparently some customers were able to add the console to their basket by using a certain URL and check out if they were quick enough. But I don't know if that ever actually worked. I only read about it. It never actually worked for me. Sometimes the console would momentarily appear in my basket and then vanish again. So I think there was something in it. But anyway, I didn't get it from Amazon, which is good in a way, because at least I'm not, I'm not propping up old Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. I said on the last episode that I seem to have it out for any Jeffs that aren't our own Jeff Onan. That's not true of all Jeffs, but I will add Jeff Bezos to that list.
Not all Jeffs.
Yeah, I will add Bezos to the list of Jeffs that are on my naughty list.
Bezos. I say Bezos, you say Bezos.
Bezos.
We've all got our own way of saying it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care. Fuck that guy.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the end of this quite tedious story is I have got a Switch 2. I'm looking at it now. But it took ages. It was quite a tedious process. In the end, I was able to reserve an in-person pickup at Smith's Toy Shop in Stockport.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. It's like Smith's Toy Shop. Here we just have the dreary big box retailers, and
it sounds more quaint than it is. I think it's a big chain. But it's nice to have a legitimate reason to be in a toy shop.
It sounds quaint to my unaccustomed
Smith's Toy Shop.
My unaccustomed American ears. That sounds just like a whimsical toy man operates that, like a jolly old soul.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly busy. Maybe 10 people in front of me in the queue. They had lots of consoles, so I don't know if I needed to worry about it, really. They did ask me for ID, though. I'm nearly 40. Probably that wasn't the reason.
Right, yeah. Well, you have to be at least 45 to play Donkey Kong Bananza.
Oh, is that right?
It deals with some really intense, mature content, and they need to make sure you're well into adulthood before you
before you can drive as a cow in a karting game. I've got an idea for this episode, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Don't know what you think about this. I thought it's time. New horizons in podcasting. What do you think about this? We've all seen unboxing videos on the YouTubes and the like, but I bet you've never encountered an unboxing in an audio-only medium.
Oh my God, that sounds like nothing. But you know what? Save it for when we feel like
So
this
that's for
episode
later on in the show.
Yeah, when this episode is hitting a lull and we need to really
It's time to do an unboxing.
Mm-hmm. We'll give that boost it needs, like 2 caffeine pills down the gullet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You see, some people think I've run out of ideas.
Who's saying that?
Right.
Who's coming up to you on the street saying, "Excuse me, Mr. Matt, I feel like you've run out of ideas"?
It's a good sort of device, isn't it, to say some people say that and then just say something that you say. Some people say that Donkey Kong is the best computer game character in existence.
No, that's
Brackets,
Diddy
I
Kong.
say that.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Gigastrike.
people say it's Donkey Kong.
Gigastrike says, I picked up a Switch 2 at Knickerbocker's Toys old-fashioned wood toy shop, which is run by a kindly elderly German man. And Terminally Online 2024 asked, did you get a physical cartridge for Mario Kart? So, for me...
Well, you'll find out in the unboxing later.
Yes, Matt will indulge us with his tale when he unboxes. For me... I pre-ordered Mario Kart World, again, from BestBuy.com, just because at this point it seemed like the least problematic big box retailer to order it from. Probably not true.
Yeah.
You know, they probably...
It is the best.
They probably have their fingers in all sorts of unsavory pies, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, like, not really a fan of Target at the moment, so I'll go via Best Buy. But, I did it separately, and that all works out because I'm a grubby little magpie, Matt. I love my physical media.
Said so.
Yeah, I like shiny things. I like the tactile sensation of feeling and sniffing a game case.
100%. Same here.
Yeah. So, you know, it's good I couldn't get the bundle because I would have wanted the physical Mario Kart World anyway. But all that to say... you know, I got my Switch 2 pre-ordered. I got Mario Kart World pre-ordered last week. And I was like, I can breathe a sigh of relief for now. But then yesterday, in light of retailers here in the US announcing that they were canceling some Switch 2 pre-orders, maybe because people were exploiting secret links on websites that weren't actually meant to give you a Switch 2. I don't know. I was getting nervous because I did get my Switch 2, you know, as I said, like at the very last minute when pre-orders were still up on Best Buy. And I was like, you know, what if there is some glitch? What if there is some bug? What if I didn't actually secure a legitimate Switch 2 pre-order? What if I'm going to get that email or text from Best Buy saying, no, sorry, it's not happening for you right now.
You're shit out of luck, Hyle.
Yeah, that's a good American voice.
Thanks. I've been practicing.
So I got a text from Best Buy yesterday around noon. And I was like, oh, no, God. You know, you see something pop up. I already talked about my phone phobia here on the Kongversation recently. That was really instilled by my mom at a young age because every time the phone would ring... after a certain time at night, she would scream, "Someone's dead!" And from there, that really just trained me to dread phone messages.
Wow, you had a melodramatic upbringing.
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Someone's dead!
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where my parents didn't mean any harm, but they really just passed their own phobias to me because they didn't know how to modulate them in front of me.
Are you sure she wasn't just taking the piss a bit?
No.
Do you take your lippies?
No.
No?
My mom suffers from severe anxiety, and so do I. But I like how much of that is chemical and how much of that is her screaming things like that when I was young and impressionable. Anyway.
Well, it might have desensitized you to the idea of death, to mortality itself.
But not pre-orders getting canceled for my video games. So
yeah, there's nothing that can prepare you for that.
No. So I looked at my phone, squinting, wincing, and then letting my eyes refocus to kind of slowly pull in the news, whatever it may be. And it said that my package was being shipped via FedEx. That's Federal Express, the second major independent shipping company here in the States. So I was like, yay!
We've got FedEx here.
Yay!
We're similar in many ways.
I clicked on the link and it said it was actually the Mario Kart World I had pre-ordered. And I was like, but what
have you
about...
accidentally ordered just the game and nothing else?
I was worried then, because I was like, I still don't have an update on the actual console that makes this game worth having. So, there's a long bit of wait, a dramatic pause. Nearly 2 hours later, I got a separate text saying that another package was being shipped via UPS, the biggest shipping company or independent shipping company here in the US. And this was for the Switch 2. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to get one unless anything goes horribly wrong in the shipping process. So then, last night, late in the evening, I got another text, saying that UPS anticipated that they would be delivering my Switch 2 console on Friday. So, barring the
When you hear the text tone, what's your response? Do you shout about the potential death of someone?
I have my phone on permanent mute because of my phobia of ringing phones or any notification sound.
You don't even have the vibrate. That's my impression of some vibrating.
My vibrator broke on my phone. I guess I used it too much. I wrote it too hard.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see anything funny about that. And if you're giggling in the live stream, stop it. Knock it off.
So, yeah, it looks like I'm not getting my Switch 2 until tomorrow. Now, the UPS truck might... Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
That was quite the reaction, wasn't it? Did you hear that, everyone? Tomorrow? What the hell? I surprised myself.
So the problem is, the United States, it basically encompasses an entire continent. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
And so, it's possible the UPS truck might get some tailwinds and really get pushed my way faster than they think. But yeah, it looks like I won't get to join in on the Switch 2 revelries on launch day. And even then, FedEx, it looks like they still haven't even gotten Mario Kart World on the truck yet. So I could be getting my Switch 2, and it might be several days until I get my first game for it. So, honestly, though, I am not stressed over this. I'm not. This is no big deal because... I'm a little bit stressed because will I get here safely without incident? What if the truck crashes? What if there's a big fiery explosion?
It's hijacked, like in the Old West.
Yes, it could be hijacked by Switch 2 robbers on horseback. It's a possibility. So, as I said, though, all I wanted was to have a Switch 2 before Bananza's release. And it looks like, unless anything goes wrong, I will have a Switch 2 this weekend. But throughout this episode, if you will indulge me, Matt, I will be checking the UPS and FedEx tracking to see where in the world my Switch 2 and or copy of Mario Kart World are.
Oh, yes. This is amazing podcasting. We are pushing the boundaries.
We're innovating.
Stay tuned for the unboxing later.
Yeah, we're really taking the format, the really staid and played out podcast format, and we're revolutionizing it. What the douches in the tech industry, the tech bros would say we're upsetting the paradigm. We're disrupting.
We're disruptors.
Yeah. So I will also analyze the tracking location with Cameron's Rare Archipelago map, the only map I have on hand, to see where in the world it is in relation to me and my friends, Donkey Kong, Banjo, Conker, etc.
Yes, it's a beautiful map. I don't know how useful it is for this particular purpose, but, I'm happy for you to try.
Yes.
And see how you get on.
Yeah. Terminally Online 2024 says, one can only imagine the midnight phone call DK got after Wrinkly passed. Yeah.
I presume the phone is shaped like a banana.
It was a long distance call, too, because he was in the Mushroom Kingdom playing golf at the time.
Oh, yeah. Astronomical bill, because this is before cheaper phone calls. Before you could do it over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hello.
Sometimes the words that come out of my mouth depress me intensely.
Hello to Skips, who's also joined us in the live stream. All right, so Stinky Apes. Hi, Skips. Stinky Ape Summer 2025, Matt. Stinky Ape Summer. For those who don't know what Stinky Ape Summer is, and fair, because we have gained several listeners, viewers, and readers since April 2nd. We've got like 4 new ones. It's amazing.
It is several. That is several.
It is several. It's more than a few. So, Stinky Ape Summer is our terminology and branding. Because we have to have bespoke branding, Matt. I will not settle for anything less. For the video game announcement season that was traditionally defined by E3. Now...
Absolutely. I don't believe that since E3's demise, it's been replaced as a umbrella term. So why not Stinky Ape Summer, everyone? Come on. I think we should try and promote this and get everyone on board. I think the games industry needs to get on board with this.
Well, unfortunately, there is Summer Games Fest by...
That's boring. Boring!
Yeah.
Summer Games Fest. Fuck off.
Noted Jeff.
Sorry for swearing.
Noted Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. And I don't like that. I don't like that branding. And
no.
The truth is, Nintendo, Xbox, none of them engage with Summer Games Fest. So,
no.
At least for their big announcements, for their big presentations. And, I'm a sentimental sort. I love tradition. I love ritual. And DK Vine would go all in on E3. Even before we started attending the trade show as legitimate journalists, we would make such a big to-do about E3. Chad and I, we treated it with reverence. We made it a week-long festival and almost a sporting event of sorts where the DK Vine staff and our loyal readers, we would be on Team DKU at E3, rooting for game reveals and announcements that pertain to Donkey Kong, Banjo Kazooie, Conker, and so on. And, oh man, we started attending E3 in person in 2015, and that definitely changed up the dynamic for how we engaged with it. In some ways, obviously...
I won't pretend I don't have FOMO. FOMO.
Well, yeah, I would have loved to have you out there at one of those E3s, Matt, but from 2015 to 2019, we were at the Los Angeles Convention Center with various DK Vine staffers and friends of the show, but then the rest of the staff, you were all at home running operations from there, and,
Ops, we call it.
Ops. Yes. And that was a special time, but I also have nostalgia for the E3s before we would go, where we would just all be sitting around our computers, working on stuff, just banging out articles and features and special presentations. And I mean, the whole, like, I would say last 10 years of E3 in particular were a really, like, magical time in my life. And those were the E3s. I mean, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, and then starting from when we were attending the show, you had Rare Replay, Yooka-Laylee, the first days of Sea of Thieves, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and then finally the announcement of Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. And oh man, like that last E3 that was in person, not counting the kind of tossed off slop job that was E3 2021. That was
tossed
just
off slop job. You've got quite the turn of phrase, haven't you?
Yeah. I try to come up with new combinations of words because I get so tired of the old ones.
I stick to just the ones I know.
I mean, whatever gets you through the night, it's all right. It's all right.
Thanks.
Elton John, John Lennon. But I think that the last E3 in 2019 was really a high to go out on. Banjo and Kazooie getting into Smash. But Matt, I know E3 was special for you as well. I know you just said, FOMO never attending in person, but I associate...
Well, I don't know if it's FOMO if I wasn't there. If it's over, I have missed out and it's over and there's no possibility. It's not fear of missing out. It's I've missed out. I've missed out. It's the resignation of having missed out. I don't know.
Romo, yeah.
Oh, no. Someone in the live stream come up with an acronym for that, thanks. I do remember a great deal of camaraderie in the old days, especially on years where we'd have nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Yeah.
I'm thinking of maybe 2012 or thereabouts.
Yeah. 2011 even.
We made something of it, didn't we? I think I've spoken about that before.
Yeah, I'm like, Matt, I know you didn't get to attend the show, but I do, if it makes you feel any better, I do associate the E3 season with you in particular, just because that was right when you were joining the DK Vine staff, and those first couple of E3s where you were on staff where there was absolutely nothing to talk about. We were after the high of Donkey Kong Country Returns getting announced, and then we were entering that extreme fallow period where Rare was still doing Kinect Sports, there was no Playtonic, and Donkey Kong was just kind of betwixt games at the moment. And just the nonsense we would come up with and get into. And you're right, camaraderie, that was what it was all about.
Yeah, I do remember as well. I don't know if you remember this. We used to do a live blog on DK Vine, which we at one time we upgraded it to a tweet along, and we gave everyone on the DK Vine staff access to the DK Vine Twitter account. I don't know if you've been to www.twitter.com. I don't know what happened to that website. Anyway, but that led to you and Chad having to put the kibosh on the thing because we were too negative. And sort of the inappropriate levels of negativity tied to the DK Vine branding wasn't necessarily the best for how we looked to, serious game journalists. Not that we're serious game journalists, of course.
Yeah, I don't think...
we just came across as a bunch of sarcastic fucks.
I don't think we were trying to be serious games journalists at the time. No. That's the problem. We were still viewing it very much like we were sitting in our little clubhouse, cracking wise, cracking over the lack of David Wise, and just being little petulant fucks.
It's fun to be a petulant fuck on the internet.
I mean, that's what DK Vine's brand was for our first 17, 18, 19 years. It took a while. It took a while for us to get past that, but yeah.
But you're right. 2015, when you first went up there yourselves, was so exciting, even from the point of view of someone that didn't. I remember you and Chad would go around the show floor, locate developers of various games, and asked them which was their favourite Brothers Bear.
I was mortified by that.
I believe those videos are still on dkvine.com/YouTube.
They
Probably.
are. Yeah, I was mortified by that because, especially back then, I was an introvert and I didn't want to bother people with our nonsense. Yeah. That was my big thing. Like, why are we walking up to these people who work at Rare and plaguing them with stupidity when we should just say...
it's a risky thing to do, really, because it could very easily be taken as you're taking the piss out of them.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, they're here to work. What are we doing? It took a while to get past that. And it was like talking with some of the people from Rare and starting to get to know them that it really like started having me come out of my shell a little bit. And also then being on the ground floor at E3 was interesting the first time because you start to realize the reach DK Vine actually had, just our small footprint on the internet. For the years we had existed, people knew who we were. Not everybody, but some people. No. And I mean, that's when I started cultivating sources. That's where Dave Throat came in, so that E3 was really the turning point. Everything we've done since then, including following the story of Donkey Kong Bananza's development, would not have been possible had we not attended that E3.
Yeah, so yeah, I found that very exciting. And, you did some straight interviews as well that year. I think Chad got me to edit one video.
Yes, I remember that. I was holding the camera for that.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So anyway, when E3 was first put on hiatus due to the pandemic in 2020, we still tried to recapture the magic with our not E3 week. We included a marathon of streaming on our Twitch channel, and it was all right. I mean, it was what it was, but it wasn't, anything as rapturous as E3 week was. And then in 2022, after the collapse of E3, I think I was inspired by things like Hot Girl Summer. And so we began branding our conversations from early June.
Can I just stop you there? What? Hot Girl Summer?
Hot Girl Summer, yeah.
What's that then?
It was just a thing. It was just a thing on social media. Like, okay. It's going to be a Hot Girl Summer.
Hot Girl Summer.
Hot girls post your pictures because it's a hot girl summer. And so I was kind of inspired by things like that and began branding our conversations from early June to late September with a Stinky Ape Summer emblem. Just like, hey, it's going to be a Stinky Ape Summer. Can you dig it? And then in 2020...
Well, it's alliterative. It could be Stinky Simeon Summer. Oh, it's too late to change it now.
I like just the bluntness of Stinky Ape Summer. You got to keep it short. You got to keep it snappy. But then in 2024, after it was officially announced that E3 was dead forever, never coming back, I decided to make Stinky Ape Summer our permanent E3 replacement, using it to define the game announcement events that matter to DK Vine. So, like, the PlayStation State of Play was yesterday. Who cares? We're not going to cover that. There's not going to be anything really relevant for us, for DK Vine in that. I say who cares. Obviously, some people listening to this do care quite a great deal about the PlayStation State of Play, but you're not going to get any serious Banjo Kazooie announcements in that, are you?
It's very important. March Rose's Switch has been delivered. I think we should both cheer. Hooray! There we go. If you are listening to this on your XML feeds, on your podcast apps, you won't be able to experience the joys of listening to these episodes as they go out live. And that's one of the things that you can get. You can get a live commentary on things people say.
Yeah, just, we do every episode of the Kongversation at the very least.
Sometimes you'll get a cheer.
Yeah. At the very least, we do it for our $5 and up patrons. We live stream them. But for special occasions, we do live episodes at twitch.tv/DKVine. And all you need for that is to follow us on Twitch. So, yeah.
And be up at 5 a.m. if you're in California.
If you or Washington State or Oregon or the
Or
Vancouver
the
region.
bit of Canada that is there.
Yeah. Just keep going up into Canada and then the, Arctic Circle.
Alaska as well.
Alaska, yeah, Arctic Circle. But
What other places are there?
I mean, I guess you can go south. You can go south into Mexico.
Oh, does this go out in the south as well? Wow.
Yeah. It can hit, honestly, the whole globe.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is, it's amazing the way things work. So anyway, Stinky Ape Summer, it covers the Xbox Showcase, for Rare and their various IPs and properties, the Nintendo Direct for Donkey Kong and, sometimes Star Fox, maybe, probably not, and any reveals that Playtonic might have ready to go, traditionally speaking. So, yeah, Stinky Ape Summer is here. Now, this year, well, I am going to go on my bear hike tomorrow morning, Matt.
Yes. I'm very excited to hear about this.
So, I'm going to be, actually, my arrival in the mountains are, if I time it just right, should be a little under 24 hours from right now. Because the earlier you get into the forest, into the mountains, the better the chance you will encounter a bear. I don't know if you know this.
No, I don't.
Okay.
We don't get bears over here. We get badgers.
We love badgers.
Also.
We love badgers. Badgers are in Diddy Kong Racing. They made Dunk. So badgers are great. But yeah, if you want to see a bear, they're usually active first thing in the morning, like right after the sun comes up, because they get out, they go about their business. They're waking up. They have to get their coffee. They have to tune into a Kongversation live stream on twitch.tv/DKVine. So you can still encounter a bear, midday or afternoon, but your best shot when they're going to be, out and about, especially if it's going to get hot that day, is early in the morning. So anyway, I try to get up there as early as I can. I don't live as close to the mountains as I used to, so I can't just, roll out of bed, get in the car, and be there within 15 to 30 minutes like I had in the past. But what is the bear hike? What is this? Why is this a thing? Well, it's our version of Groundhog Day, kind of, a little bit. Just a touch of that. It's just a lot of nonsense superstition rooted in, again, tradition. Because back in 2010, when rumors that Retro Studios was going to be making a Donkey Kong game were running wild the weekend before E3, it really did bring so many people back into the fold, to the DK Vine forum, to the DKU and Donkey Kong communities. The late buyout era had really just seen us all kind of drift apart. I think after the disappointment of what Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was going to be, not actually speaking to any inherent quality of Nuts and Bolts, but just that kind of balloon deflating of, Nuts and Bolts isn't going to be a traditional Banjo Kazooie game. What do we have to look forward to now? I guess this is the end of childhood. I guess it's time to go out and get a
pack it in. Yeah.
IRA to like get a retirement fund, to get a briefcase that we carry our work papers in. After that, it felt like it was the end of the road for everything. And then 2010, early June, rumors started kicking up that Retro was doing Donkey Kong. And I mean, that created this huge frenzy on the DK Vine forum, and all of us got excited again. It felt great to be excited about a video game. it felt like it was rekindling some youthful spark, some mirthful merriment that had long been suppressed. And yeah, like, we were all just hanging out on the forum, like, into the wee hours, just speculating, chatting wildly.
That's all very well, Hyle, but what's that got to do with your bear hike?
I'm explaining, Matt. I like to be
Okay.
long-winded.
That's good. Well, listen, before you conclude, I just want to report some of the things people are saying in the live chat, right?
Please,
Listen
please.
to this.
Okay.
And please don't get angry.
I'm not.
Terminally Online 2024 says, is there going to be a structure to this episode at some point? Lol. To which March Rose replies, haha, I hope not, honestly. Just hours long stream of consciousness from them. Of course there's going to be a structure to it. We planned this in advance.
We did. We did.
It's all scripted.
Every word, including Matt's angry shouting, has been scripted out.
How dare you say that?
We're meticulous. All right. We leave nothing to chance. No. I'm setting the stage for Stinky Ape Summer. Okay? Okay.
Yeah. I've not said anything for a while, so I thought I'd interject with that.
I appreciate. No, I like that because sometimes the caffeine pills, the calf tabs, as I like to call them, they wear off, and I need that jolt of adrenaline or fear.
Yeah.
Fear works too.
You need a weird Englishman to shout at you.
Yes. As a weird American man, I appreciate the variety of weirdness screaming at me.
Good. Please continue.
So anyway, it felt like a lot was riding on us because as excited and giddy as we were, there was that fear that the rumors were not true. And it really was kind of a make or break point for DK Vine because the server was up for renewal that year. And the truth was we probably were just going to let it die. So had they not announced Donkey Kong Country Returns that year, we would not be here today. I would not be a full-time Donkey Kong journalist, and we would not be having this freestyle stream of consciousness early in the morning on the day the Switch 2 is released. So, anyway, I got up early that morning, like, even before the sun came up, because I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm like, today's the day. This was the day of the Nintendo Direct, that Tuesday. And I was like, today's the day. I don't want to just sit around. You know what? I'm going to go into the mountains for a little hike. Because this was, I think, 5 a.m. is when I woke up, and the Nintendo Direct wasn't until 11, I think, Eastern time. So, anyway, long story short, I went into the mountains. It was a beautifully cool, crisp, technically late spring, but culturally summer morning. And I saw a bear, Matt. A bear strolled out in front of me. And
What kind?
we
Brown,
locked eyes. It's a brown bear. A brown bear.
An adult or a baby?
A yearling.
I want
a
details.
yearling. So about 1 year
It's like a
old.
toddler.
They're still pretty big, but they're like at the age
The
where
toddlers, they wear romper suits, I think.
yes, Kitty Kong sized bear. So no, these are the bears that were born the previous year. They've now left their mother and family unit and they're off on their own.
Got jobs and stuff.
Yeah. with the little briefcase, 401k. Yeah. So it was a very, very chill Zen moment, just locking eyes with this bear. No animosity. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you're going to get eaten. I was like, no. Like, you keep your distance.
In that moment, they both understood one another.
We did. You keep a healthy amount of distance. You don't startle them. You don't try to ride them around like a little pony. And, really the biggest risk is getting between a mother bear and its cubs, which I've only done once, and I had to flee for my
Between
life.
a mother bear and a brother bear.
But every other encounter I've ever had with a bear has been just kind of like, oh yeah, hi, what's up? So anyway, at that moment, I kind of like knew. there is just this cosmic moment of understanding, this crystallizing feeling that, oh yeah, they're going to announce a Donkey Kong game today because I saw a bear. And as we all know, Brothers Bear, Banjo, bears matter to the DKU almost as much as apes and monkeys do.
You're a little bit sort of spiritual, aren't you, Hyle? For the listeners at home, I can't tell how serious Hyle is when he says these things.
You know what? Honestly, I can't tell either.
No. It's a difficult level of reality you're operating on.
But
I think it's good to introduce a new superstition to the world.
Yeah, no. The old superstitions are busted. They're tired.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Let's introduce this new, incredibly specific superstition, which means if Hyle Russell, the man, sees a bear in Virginia in early June, then someone somewhere will make a Donkey Kong game.
Right. So yeah, I drove back and like less than an hour to go until the Nintendo Direct, arrived home, got on my computer, and Reggie was on stage. Retro Studios in Texas has made some great Metroid games, but when they wanted to do something new, we asked them to, etc. Whatever. If you listen, you can hear it coming. And the course of my life was forever altered. And because of that, I got to know lovely people like Matt here.
Interesting usage of the word lovely.
No, you're a lovely...
And correct usage. Usage.
You're a lovely human, Matt, and I owe it all to that bear I saw back in 2010. So, yeah, I go for a bear hike at the beginning of each, used to be E3 season, now Stinky Ape Summer. I don't really know what the bear hike means this year, because we are getting a Donkey Kong game in July. But the bear...
if you don't see a bear this year, what does that mean?
It means that during the Xbox showcase, Phil Spencer will put a gun to Banjo's head and pull the trigger.
Well, that would be quite the spectacle.
Yeah. I'll let everyone know if I've seen a bear or not, but the Xbox showcase is this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. British Summer Time. And that will be followed with yet another live conversation on twitch.tv/DKVine. Now, we still
not with me, so it will be at a reasonable time that you can all attend.
Not so reasonable for you, Matt, because it'll probably be in the wee hours by the time we get around to it for you. But
okay,
we still don't know when there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this Stinky Ape Summer, given, they just released their new hardware today. But this year, we might even get 2 relevant, worthwhile Nintendo Directs worthy of the stink of the summer. We've got
worthy of the stink.
We've got the traditional one with the game reveals for later in the year, and we might have a Donkey Kong Bananza specific Direct as well. Exciting times. What a time to be alive if you're a fan of this very particular blend of Donkey Kong journalism and hype.
Can I talk about the pronunciation of the new Donkey Kong game's title?
Please do. This is going to bug me until you explain it to me.
There are some people who might say, Matt, nobody gives a shit about this. But to them, I say, stick it up your arse, mate!
No, you wanted structure for this episode. This is structure. Yeah. There's a point to this.
It's just something I've been thinking about because in England, in Wales, I guess, we say banana rather than banana. Not sure about Scotland, actually. Do we have any Scottish listeners? If you're Scottish or Irish, come to that, please get in touch. Let us know how you say banana. I'd be interested to know.
They only deep fry bananas in Scotland, so...
Aye, that's true. Also, if you are a Scottish DK Vine, I particularly want to hear how you feel about Fiddlesworth from off of Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
And the Warpstone from off of Star Fox Adventures.
Are they fair representations of your people? Get in touch. Let us know. This is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
In America and other places, I think Bananza and banana are pronounced the same, apart from the Z, of course. Or Z, if you will.
I will.
Bananza, banana, right?
Bananza. Banana.
Banana. Yeah. But over here in Blighty, we say banana and bonanza. It's different. They're different is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this should be reflected in the pronunciation of the pun. Ergo, Donkey Kong Bananza.
Bananza.
The problem is, I've been saying it during this episode, and I feel like a bit of a twat. But I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. Bananza.
Bananza. I like
English, Welsh, Irish listeners, get in touch. Let us know if you agree. Scottish listeners, I want to know how you say banana and what you think about the warp stone, please. This episode has homework.
Thank you.
Bananza.
We're going to get into what we think we'll see during the various showcases and directs, but I also wanted to plug our Stinky Ape Summer 2025 merchandise is now available.
Merchandise!
It's now available.
Sorry, I was just trying to join in.
Thank you. In our shop at dkvine.com/merchandise. You can get the all-new Stinky Ape Summer 2025 logo, which is the Stinky Ape Summer Sun, but rendered in rock form, as in something Donkey Kong might break in Bananza. You can get it on a t-shirt, on a tank top, because it's hot outside, or on a hat to keep the sun out of your eyes. However, Matt, DK Vine is a global brand. As we've established, DK Vine goes south as well. And there's an entire hemisphere right now where it's not summer at all. They're entering the winter months.
What?
And, Jeff Keighley doesn't care about them. Jeff Keighley, being the privileged Nepo baby that he is, he doesn't see beyond his own crib. And he doesn't know how the world works outside of his little, what do you call those things that dangle above a crib? The,
mobile?
Mobile, yeah. He doesn't care about anything, right, about beyond his little baby mobile that has like, I don't know, Call of Duties and Gods of War game cases on it. I was like, we can't leave our Southern Hemisphere readers, listeners, viewers out. So for you, we have an all-new, well-groomed New World Monkey winter t-shirt, crew neck sweatshirt, because it's cold outside, or a hat to keep your head warm. Yep.
I've not got any DK Vine merchandise. I feel like I'm a traitor to the brand.
No, it's fine.
Maybe today's the day. Today is the day.
Today's the day.
Gonna be head to toe. What trousers do you do?
We don't sell trousers, unfortunately.
You don't sell trousers?
We don't sell trousers. No, because we run it through TeePublic, and they don't provide a trouser option as
anything
of yet.
from the waist down is off limits. Okay.
It's Diddy Kong style.
I can see some potential in pants, I have to say.
Yeah, I agree, but it's Diddy Kong style, worry about what's above the waist and just leave the rest to the wind.
Yeah, no one's looking at the waist down. Come on.
All right, Matt, it's time. I got to check in with my Switch 2 tracking. Where in the world is my Switch 2? Oh my God. All right, let's go. Come on. It's in Maryland.
Maryland.
It's in. So Maryland, Matt, if you don't know, Maryland is the state right above my own.
It's in New England, right? I know America bits.
No, it's not New England. It is.
Is it not? It's in the northeast, isn't
the
it?
Mid-Atlantic region. Okay, but yeah, it's in Maryland right now. Mario Kart World has Maryland is how it's spelled, but it's pronounced Maryland.
I don't believe it. Maryland, it says. Maryland.
Mario Kart World, however, I don't know where in the world it is because it hasn't been shipped yet.
Well, it's got to be in the world.
I would hope so. But they say they'll ship it today. So who knows? FedEx, the problem with FedEx compared to UPS is FedEx, they don't run as many trucks. And so they haven't picked it up yet. Where UPS, like, they picked it up late last night. So, riveting stuff.
It'd be good for the podcast if at least one of the things could arrive before the end of this episode.
That would be very dramatic.
You could get in touch with FedEx and tell them that.
But we have some excitement coming your way because Matt will unbox his Switch 2 in just a little bit.
Yeah, just stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. Oh my God. I can't wait. My heart is pumping. Maybe it has to do with the 2 caffeine pills I took.
Yeah, it could be that. Hyle and I, before the show started, bonded on our shared enthusiasm for caffeine pills and fizzy water. So that's exciting, isn't it?
It is, yes. We love fizzy water. We love calf tabs. It's how I start every day. It's how Donkey Kong journalism is made, in fact.
Like, someone gives me normal water at a restaurant. I'm like, are you trying to poison me? It's not got bubbles in it. Send it back! And that's why I'm not allowed in McDonald's anymore. Not that I would ever go to McDonald's.
I think, for me, I am a product of the Nintendo Play It Loud culture, and so I have to have everything extreme! And my water must be extreme as well. And must have bubbles.
Extreme water. That's a good marketing idea for fizzy water. Why not rebrand as Extreme Water? It's a bit like how Diet Coke got renamed to Coke Zero to appeal to sort of hard men.
Right. Terminally Online
can't be
says...
seen drinking Diet Coke, but Coke Zero, that's more manly, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
It's the same.
And then Dr. Pepper had their own version, and the motto for it was, "It's not for women."
Yeah.
All right. So, Terminally Online says, I don't know if I can keep supporting this show. Seltzer water is gross. Look. You can feel however you want, but I like the sensation of taking a swig of water and feeling like I'm being stung by tiny bees down my throat.
I love the idea that someone would hear us advocate for fizzy water and go, right, that is beyond the pale. I'm withdrawing my support for this project. Up until now, fine. All that stuff about how we're periodically going to track my delivery of some mail. That's all fine.
Blitzrunner29 says, my pre-order from Walmart was delivered early this morning and included a free can of pizza-flavored Pringles and a bottle of orange vanilla Coke. And just Andre says, dude, same, what the fuck? Although they got barbecue-flavored Pringles. I'm
more intrigued by the orange vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think about that. I suppose it's just the stacking of different adjectives to describe your drink with when you run out of ideas. Orange, it's a little bit like pink gold peach.
A little bit, yeah. Terminally Online, let us know if you find orange vanilla Coke gross.
Yes, please let us know.
Yes.
Or delicious, especially if it's delicious. It sounds disgusting, I have to say. But it might be amazing.
I can't do soda anymore. Like when I say soda, I'm referring to the sugary beverages. Some people might call it pop or a zesty beverage. But for me, it's just too sweet. It's too much sugar, or in our case, corn syrup. And I can't finish Like I start sipping it and I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I want to throw up now. I used to guzzle it hardcore. Like E3 used to be fueled by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Day in, day out, all night long.
Yeah, we were sponsored by them for a time, weren't we?
Not officially, but we definitely
Not
gave them a
anymore.
lot of free promotion.
I'm partial to a ginger beer.
Oh, yeah.
This week's podcast is sponsored by ginger beer. Buy some. Buy some now.
I learned what ginger beer was because of Banjo Kazooie.
Of course, yes. It's delicious.
Yes.
It's delicious, and pirates drink it and get drunk off it somehow.
Somehow, yes. All right. Let's actually preview the summer ahead, Matt, with the thing that probably will hold the least amount of interest with our audience. So I'm going to start with that. The Xbox Showcase. Now, the Xbox Showcase is usually rife with disappointment or indifference, I should say. We always go into it hoping we're going to get some big, sexy announcements for Rare and their IPs. But let's face it, all we are guaranteed to get is a new trailer for Sea of Thieves. And that's no shade meant towards Sea of Thieves, which everybody knows I adore. But Sea of Thieves has been a constant presence for the Xbox showcases since 2015. And in 2015, it was really, really exciting. 2016, it was really, really exciting. 2017, I was excited. But then once the game launched in 2018, March 20th, 2018, following that, seeing Sea of Thieves at E3 or Stinky Ape Summertime doesn't really have the same punch it used to.
Well, you say that, but there's been some... I thought the Monkey Island stuff from a couple of years ago was quite exciting, for example. You know, there's still stuff to keep you going.
Like, as much as I am personally indifferent towards Monkey Island, and that announcement kind of stirred up some feelings for me, I did actually really enjoy those three tall tales. And,
I mean, I should say I don't really play Sea of Thieves myself, but I did enjoy watching the live stream the other week. It's worth tuning into, even if you're not a player.
Yeah, we mostly just sail around and talk about Grab by the Ghoulies trivia.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable.
But yes, I'm sure we will get a new trailer for Sea of Thieves, because we always do, even though the new season of the game just began, season 16. So season 17 of Sea of Thieves will have, I don't know, Devil's Reapers, Rage Peg Legs, or something. I don't know. It sounds like I'm being dismissive.
Well, that's because you are being.
I am being, okay. It's hard to get excited because Sea of Thieves is a constant. It is a persistent ember, a pilot light for Rare and the DKU. No matter what's happening, or what's not happening, I should say, we can always fall back on Sea of Thieves. It's the old, reliable standby at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary that it's kept going for this length of time, I suppose. Yeah. I don't have much experience with this sort of game, I guess, but it's impressive, I think.
Rare's most successful game ever. And I love that Rare has a perpetual money machine, right? In these uncertain times for the video game industry, it's been very nice not to have to worry about Rare shuttering in the foreseeable future.
What do you think about its future, Hyle? Do you think it's got a few years in it left?
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean to sound pessimistic, because I realised what I just said sounded like doom and gloom.
I am not doom and gloom about Sea of Thieves or its future. I think it is such a successful brand for Xbox, and they need successful brands at this point. And the fact that it's diversified and now it's on PlayStation 5 and Battle.net, it's not even...
When is it coming out on the Switch 2?
I very much doubt it, but it would be amazing if they could get it running on the Switch 2. And, I mean, look, it's not even really reliant on the Xbox hardware anymore to be a success. And so I think it's going to be around for the foreseeable future. And that's great, that's great. I just think that when we're talking about Stinky Ape Summer, the game's announcement season, the Xbox showcases, it's, with some exceptions, not the most exciting thing to be tuning in for when we get Sea of Thieves announcements virtually every week.
Okay, so you're just sort of blasé about it, is what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I the asshole here? I'm being a realist.
I think you're the arsehole here.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Which is weird, because I'm on the show.
I try so hard to be positive and a source of optimism, a ray of light in these beleaguered times, and yet...
You're not the arsehole, sir. I don't know what I was about to say. Sir? Sir. You're sir now.
Sir Slush. Sir Slush 2.
Sir Slush?
At AOL.com. No longer works. Don't email them.
Might do. Give it a go. Let us know in the live chat. See if someone pings you back.
Going into the Xbox showcase, one of the things I have been gauging or trying to determine is the likelihood that we will get any announcement about Everwild. Everwild, more like Forever Mild. Because it's been in development for so long without any updates about how it's coming along or even what the game actually is. And I thought at the end of 2024 that there was some evidence cropping up that this would be the year we would get an announcement on Everwild. Because Rare's holiday card at the end of 2024, they didn't send me one. I don't get one, but they shared it online. And
that's outrageous. You don't get a holiday card.
No. I'm not really relevant to their promotional interest anymore.
Well, wait until they hear this episode.
Their holiday card was based on Everwild. And I was like, wow, that's surprising. Everwild is probably making good progress. And then earlier this year, back in March, Microsoft filed a new trademark for Everwild, which might sound like, oh yeah, they're getting ready. But truthfully, the trademark thing, that rarely means anything except for corporate housekeeping. That, you know, the people, the lawyers with their briefcases and their portfolios, their diversified portfolios. They come in and they're like, hey, we need to get the trademark for this lockdown because
need to show you a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah,
with some pie charts on it.
There's a wilderness survival store out in Reno, Nevada, and they want to trademark Everwild, and we've got to beat them to the punch. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would love to.
I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, I would love to get an announcement about Everwild, because here's the thing. Everwild's been a game that Rare's had in development the longest without an actual release. Because Saberman Stampede, for as much as we joke about that game, for as long as that was in some state of development, even they cut the losses on. Like, they said, like, you know what, this is not happening, let's end it right here. From Donkey Kong Racing to Saberman Stampede's late development, that was what, 6-7 years? So
yeah, okay.
Everwild has eclipsed it. Everwild has been in development for close to a decade. And Rare, I love you. I don't think that should ever be in question, even though you don't send me your holiday cards. I love you, Rare. And I don't know, it's close to a decade. If you still have nothing to show for it, then maybe it is time to can the project. And I hate to think in those terms because, yeah, like, a lot has been put into it, but there is a new administration at Rare. Joe Neate and Jim Horth are running the studio. Craig Duncan is still the boss above them, but Craig Duncan now has a lot more on his plate. And you just got to factor in, like, all the money, all the time, all the resources that have been put into Everwild's development. Is it really worth continuing to put money into it if it's still years away from being released? Because at that point, like, what's the sunk cost fallacy?
But what if it's amazing?
It could be amazing, but I think they would have, like, and maybe they have. Maybe they've cracked the formula. I know Greg Mails came in a couple years ago and tried to, like, reroute it with his Greg Mailsian magic. And Gary Napper took over the project, but we haven't heard anything about it for some time. Maybe this will be the coming out party, but if it's not, I would hope that Joe Neate, Jim Horth, Craig Duncan, they have a long, hard look and they say, none of us are getting any younger. Like, Matt, let's assume I make it to year 100 of my life. Let's assume that my youthful merriment, the mirth, the spark that was reignited when Donkey Kong Country Returns was announced, buoys me to a century of life. Let's say that. If that's the case... I
love the idea that Donkey Kong Country Returns is solely responsible for your century's existence.
That's what I will attribute to,
Centenary.
When people ask me at my 100th birthday, if I make it, what do you attribute to your long life?
It's because of Donkey Kong Country Returns, you see? That kept me going.
Why have you turned British, Hyle?
I don't know. It's just something that sort of happens when you get to my age. Oh dear, my hips.
March Rose earlier compared your posh accent to the accent we do for Rambi when we speculate about Rambi being able to talk.
What do you mean, my posh accent? This is just how I talk.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're the poshest person here, Matt, out of the two of us.
I'm not sure that's true.
We're
We're both extremely hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity, yeah. It's hard to be hoity-toity when you've got the American accent. It really is.
You pull it off somehow, though, don't you? With your top hat and tails.
We do not sell top hats or tails at dkvine.com/merchandise. TeePublic won't let us. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the Everwild situation.
Yeah,
it's,
Matt, if I live to be 100...
It's intriguing.
If I live to be 100, Everwild...
I didn't let you finish your point.
Everwild would have been in development for 1/10 of my life, at least, by the time it comes out.
So what's the maths with how old you are now? What is it? It's a quarter?
Yeah.
That's more compelling than a 10th.
I was just thinking the long game.
Maths.
Because I'm thinking in terms of mortality at this point. I'm thinking...
Yeah, I just don't know why you have to be 100 for this to work.
Because I am thinking in terms of big picture. I'm saying I might live to be 100. And then that's one entire decade of my life that this secondary rare game had no measurable traction. And I want to have more rare games before I die. Sea of Thieves is great. I would like at least one or two more rare games.
Development of Everwild is taking away from something else.
It is
potentially else.
It is definitely taking up resources at Rare that they could use towards something else, maybe. And like their next game, and this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that Sea of Thieves was such a success for them that they feel like their next game might have to be as big or as persistently lucrative as Sea of Thieves, like a constant money machine.
Oh, I see.
And I feel like they can't crack the formula because Sea of Thieves was such a winning idea that maybe the pressure is just too much to like repeat it.
Well, I'm keeping the faith. I think it's going to be amazing.
Maybe. But I just
feel like I'm in a position to advise them.
I feel like it's just not the most organic way to maybe... Like, obviously something's going wrong with Everwild's development, or something went wrong with Everwild's development. Maybe they've sorted it out behind the scenes. Maybe they've got it back on track. But I feel like while Sea of Thieves, like, was released within a few years from conception to announcement to release, Everwild, they're struggling. They just can't figure it out. And I don't know.
Yeah, so what's the difference in time? So with Sea of Thieves, we knew about it in 2015, but presumably it had been in development for maybe 2 years before that? What do you think?
A year of that.
Do you think? Okay, so it came out in 2018. So
March
can someone
2018.
in the live chat do the maths on that, please? Thank you.
Just a little under 3 years from announcement to release. And maybe
4 years in development.
Oh yeah, a little
5.
under 4 years. So that's pretty good.
But if it takes twice as long to make Everwild, presumably that means it's twice as good. Twice as good.
Oh, if only things could work that way. No. Okay, here's the deal. It sounds like I'm being very harsh on Everwild. I hope they announce it.
It does, doesn't it?
I hope they have this big trailer during the Xbox showcase, and they say it's coming out soon. It's
just this vacuum of information that's causing this kind of head scratching. We just don't know what to make of any of it.
Right. And I don't even know what the game is. I don't know how it plays, so it's hard to be excited about it. So yeah, if we don't see it this year, I'm just saying pull the plug on it. I don't care at this point. Like, move on, Rare, please. I don't want to.
Matt Cornah says don't pull the plug on it. Finish it. And finish Project Dream and 12 Tales Conquer 64 as well, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to be at my 100th birthday and I look back at my life's regrets, and one of them is, I wish I hadn't told Rare to keep on Everwild, to keep making it, and then it takes 30 years for it to come out. And because of that, I inadvertently ruined any chance of a new Banjo Kazooie game or whatever. That'll be on me. So I've just got to speak the blunt, harsh truth. It's time. Or it's time to pull the plug.
All right. But, I'm keeping the faith.
Okay.
I think it could be great.
Okay.
I'm keeping the faith no matter how obviously wrong I am.
Okay, well, moving on, though. Banjo Kazooie? Maybe?
Banjo Kazooie?
Maybe?
Question mark at the end of it?
Are
you alright? You had a breakdown?
No, I'm talking about Banjo Kazooie, and I'm getting a little sad because every year we go into the Xbox showcase with frigid, cautious optimism about a new Banjo Kazooie game. Not necessarily made by Rare, but maybe overseen by Rare a little bit. Similar to some of the other Xbox Studios releases of their classic IPs, like Killer Instinct, Battletoads 2020, which had a lot more hands-on development from Rare, but then the new Perfect Dark that was really shown off last year. Not really.
I think you've just argued in favor of the almost certain possibility of a Banjo Kazooie announcement. I think I exaggerated when I said almost certain there, but you knew what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, I come in every year thinking this might be the year for Banjo Kazooie. That I called it frigid optimism. And that frigid optimism always melts away in the harsh sun of the reality of the Xbox showcase.
Right. I'm just going to have to cough, and I can't reach the microphone muting button, so this is going to be some live coughing. Thank you.
Wow. We're going to unbox a Switch 2, and you get to hear Matt cough and clear his throat all in the same episode?
Before we started this recording, I made what's called a microphone flag, like what newscasters have, that has the logo of their TV channel on it, so that you know to what TV channel it belongs to. And I've created a DK Vine one, not realizing that in so doing, I can no longer switch my microphone off to do things like cough or sneeze or make other unpleasant bodily function noises.
Yeah, when
So they're all staying in.
Matt's not lying. Matt shared this on our Inner Circle server. And it looks great. But yes, the downside is all of Matt's various bodily noises are going to be picked up on the mic because there's no way to mute it.
No way to mute it. Or to edit it out.
No. We've talked about it so much at this point, the episode wouldn't make sense. The entire structure of the episode would fall apart. It's a load-bearing commentary about your coughing. So back to Banjo Kazooie. There's been industry scuttlebutt of a new Banjo Kazooie game entering production somewhere within Xbox Studios for a few years now. It feels like it always pops up around this time of the year. We go into the Xbox showcase, nothing is announced, and it just kind of evaporates into the wind. Now, what do I think about all this? Hard to say, because on one hand, I could see a very real possibility that a Banjo-Kazooie game has been in the works somewhere within Xbox Studios, and they've just been very good at keeping it under wraps. But we also know, given all the things plaguing the industry right now, there's also the possibility that maybe preliminary work started on a Banjo-Kazooie game, and then it fell through via layoffs or studios scuttling. I don't know. And it's possible they could have just started production on a Banjo-Kazooie game, or it's possible no traction has been made at all, and they're just twiddling their thumbs on the IP.
Well, here's the thing. So
In the
would
IP.
this year be a good year for a Banjo announcement in the first place, given that this is the year of something that we'll talk about shortly?
Yeah. Well,
which
yeah,
rhymes with banana.
It's a good point, because in relation to Platonic, and however you feel or want to feel about Platonic at the moment, given their own issues that have sprung up in recent weeks, I totally understand that if you're just not feeling any hype or enthusiasm for Yuka Replayly at the moment. I get it, but I do still care about the staffers remaining at Platonic. Many of them who were at Rare back in the day, many of them I consider just lovely individuals, most of whom are just as aghast at losing their colleagues as we fans are. So I still want Yuka Replayly to do well for them, but I was thinking, if they would announce a new Banjo-Kazooie game, well, that's kind of curtains for Yuka Replayly doing well, isn't it? In it.
You're making fun of me.
No! It's fun to say in it sometimes.
It is fun to say in it. Is it appropriation if you say it?
Oh no. Oh God, I'm the problem. Oh, sorry. Oh, I have to do some self-flagellation
you have to just
now.
do some thinking about your life.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've had years, haven't we, where loads of stuff gets announced all at once. I wouldn't kick that out of bed.
Yeah, I know, but okay, so Yuka Replayly, it's a niche fandom as is. So if a Banjo-Kazooie game, which might have 5 times, 10 times the IP recognition of Yooka-Laylee, if that gets announced, oh boy. And then you do have the other game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, already stealing Yuka Replayly's thunder. How would that do if a new Banjo-Kazooie game is coming out? I don't think the Banjo-Kazooie game would come out this year. Like, they could announce it, and, that'd be like, ooh, it's something to look forward to next year.
I think you're right, though. I think even a Banjo announcement would steal the thunder of Replayly's release, even if, as you say, they're not released in the same year in the end.
As much as I do want a new Banjo-Kazooie game, believe me, I do, maybe this is not the year for it, and maybe we just have to be okay with that.
I'm easy with anything, really. I mean, it sort of puts me in mind of something I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is the idea that nothing is gone forever. I don't know if I've spoken about this before, but I think there's a propensity when you're a fan of something to sort of balk at new things that are introduced because they in some way undermine or erase what's gone before. I don't know, say if something invalidates continuity in some way. So, for example, believe me, I've got a point here. I've seen this a lot recently with, and I promise I won't talk about this too much, Doctor Who.
Oh!
I won't go into.
No, let's get into it. This is now a Doctor Who podcast. Well, spoilers, everyone!
Like most people on the internet, I don't have anything interesting to say about Doctor Who. But, arguably, I don't have anything interesting to say about anything. But you had me on, it's your fault.
Oh.
But basically, what I'm saying is, if this is the end of the Banjo series, if the Banjo series is gone for good, that's the end. No, it's all gone. And that, I don't actually believe that's ever going to happen. But if that's the case, it wouldn't, in a way, it wouldn't actually bother me. Because even though I'm a fan of Banjo and Donkey Kong, and I love Banjo, and I always look forward to the prospect of new Banjo games, the point is, I already have the games I love. I've got them. I own them. They're in my house. They can't get me. And I think it's sometimes worth reminding ourselves every once in a while when we're in a situation like what Rare are in at the moment, and Platonic and et al., where we don't know what's next, and there's a certain amount of doom and gloom, which might be unfounded. It's good to reflect on the fact that we've got all these amazing computer games that we love already, and you can't take those away. They're not gone forever.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I'm thankful for what we do have as part of the tapestry. That
my
is
love of these games is not predicated on there being a constant stream of new entries. I think that's what I was leading to. I'm already on board.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've proven that at DK Vine. We've proven our bona fides as far as making the most out of having years of little game announcements.
Yeah.
We celebrate what we have, and we really just wring out every last drop of talking points and celebration.
Yeah, I will never get tired of playing Donkey Kong Country 2, I don't think.
Yeah. We take every like random character from all of these games and we put them on a pedestal. We treat them with such revered
tomato
affection. Yes. I maintain that a Banjo Kazooie game will be coming. I just don't know if this is the year for it. I say that every year, but it's true. It's true.
It's coming. Don't know when.
In a live stream, checking in, Martro says, from what I've seen online, the original leaker said the game, referring to Banjo Kazooie, was greenlit. Nate the Hate hasn't heard anything else on Banjo after he said that it was greenlit. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is, like, I haven't heard anything either. Like, it just kind of runs dry.
I've heard that it's greenlit.
Yeah, you've heard that too, Matt?
Yeah, I heard it a minute ago.
And just given the
it's
instability,
a Go project.
Given the instability of the industry in the last few years, it's just hard to say. Like, we knew Donkey Kong was being developed at Nintendo EPD, but then we hadn't heard anything for so long. So then the question becomes, is it still in the works, or did it fall through like all these other projects that start development that we don't even hear about? I mean, the Vicarious Visions Donkey Kong game, like, nobody would have known about that had we not broken that story. Because why? They're not going to announce a game that never got far along enough to have an announcement. So
when you are 100 years old and all of this stuff gets released, like declassified, it's going to be a fascinating adventure for your 100-year-old self to delve into this stuff. I'm really excited to see what Everwild was.
When I'm on my deathbed and I just burn all my sources and I just divulge everything I've acquired in my lifetime of Donkey Kong journalism,
shouldn't have bought that deathbed.
Really quick, Terminally Online says, I've heard quite a bit of speculation that Retro might want to return to 2D DKC after Prime 4 is wrapped, in part because pitching original projects caused them to lose out like 5 years of dev time. Thoughts? I mean, it's possible that Nintendo might be like, okay, Retro, you can handle the 2D Donkey Kong games, but I also think it would be atypical of them to split the duties. Like, I think Donkey Kong is an eternal franchise now, and like, no ill will towards Retro, but I think they want to control the direction of Donkey Kong at Nintendo EPD. So I think,
but having said that, I wouldn't be against that.
I wouldn't be against it, but at the same time, I would also be eager to see what they would do with a Donkey Kong Country game. And
oh yeah, it'd be a bit more wacky, I reckon. A bit more wacky.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think the people there who love Donkey Kong understand Donkey Kong. So, like, this idea that,
yeah, I think you said in the last episode the Fears and Hopes episode, you said that they are fans.
Yeah. So there's obviously going to be differences, but there's going to be differences with any studio that takes on Donkey Kong from the last studio who did Donkey Kong. So, yeah, anyway, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I just think it's less likely than the next Donkey Kong Country game is made, by one of the Nintendo EPD teams. And, yeah. That's that. So, Matt, I'm going to check in with my Switch 2 tracking, if you'll indulge me again.
Yes, please, let me know. Let me still know if it's still in Maryland, which we've established, I don't know if you've been keeping up, is not in New England. I repeat, Maryland is not in New England.
It's not. It's
also pronounced Maryland. How do you say it?
Maryland.
Maryland?
Maryland.
Maryland.
It's where Cameron's
like
from. Maryland.
Oh, I should respect that.
It's
Cameron's home state. I shouldn't be disrespecting the home state of a beloved DK Vine stuffer.
Okay, so it has been shipped from Maryland, so it's in transit right now.
So has it crossed the state border?
I don't know. It's not giving me that detailed information. Like, I don't have a little tracker on it. I'm not seeing it, like, move along the highways. But,
I am envisaging a sort of, like, a horse and cart galloping along.
Stagecoach, yeah.
Trying to get to the state line. Yeah, stagecoach. There you go. Got all you with your words.
FedEx is saying that Mario Kart World is still ready to be shipped, but has not been shipped. It's a little disappointing, I have to admit.
But we believe it is in the world. I repeat, it's in the world.
I would say the odds are 99.5% it is somewhere in the world.
0.5% space.
So I have got a very exciting scoop for you and for our listeners. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. I'll try and be.
This is the first Stinky Ape summer that I can confirm 100%, like greater odds than even my Switch 2 being on this planet. 100% I can confirm that a new Donkey Kong game will indeed be arriving, and soon, within the next 6 weeks. Donkey Kong Bananza is being released July 17th, and that really just upends all the traditions of E3, of Stinky Ape Summer. How weird is it that we are getting a legitimate new standalone Donkey Kong game that's a big, lavish 3D adventure?
It's weird. I think it warrants a clap and cheer. Hooray! You didn't join in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saving my strength,
Let's
my
go
energy.
again. We'll go again. Come on.
Oh, okay. He
1,
wants me to do it.
2, 3.
Yay! Is that okay?
This once more with feeling.
Oh.
No, not really. Oh, by the way, Cameron says, I like to think Hyle's shipping updates are presented like old King Cole telling you where Chuffy is. Your Switch 2 is enjoying what's that? Crab cakes? Crab cakes in Maryland.
Yeah. That's
Maryland.
Maryland.
I don't know how to say it.
Maryland.
This is like Arkansas all over again.
It's like Marilyn Monroe, but with a D at the end. Maryland Monroe.
I don't like it.
I'm sorry. I mean, you don't have to say it much, do you? Except when you're on a live conversation.
I can just call it Cameronland.
Whatever works. Whatever works. I come up with bullshit names for things all the time, like Donkey Kong 64 characters who weren't given proper monikers. Scaver, yeah. So, we're so dialed in for these summer months being the land of game announcements. Maybe we would get a release that's like a cameo game. Maybe we would get 2 cameo games. But generally speaking, it is so odd, is so surreal that we are getting
unusual.
Biggest DKU release since arguably Sea of Thieves. I mean, Smash Ultimate, Sea of Thieves, your mileage may vary there, but I would say the most impactful game for our community since Donkey Kong Country Returns. And it's coming out smack dab in the middle of July.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because any other year, Mario Kart World would be huge news. But not this year.
This year, I'm like, oh, FedEx doesn't know when it's going to get Mario Kart World to me. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'm not sweating it. That's weird. That's bizarre.
I feel strange within myself. I don't feel quite right. I think I'm going to be sick and I can't turn my microphone off.
Banjo Kazooie, historically speaking, came out in late June. So, that's what I think of when I think of the big summer game of the DKU. It's one of the few instances where we had the major release coming out that summer, and then we didn't really have anything else for the rest of the year. And now we have the first 3D Donkey Kong adventure in over 25 years as sort of the center of gravity for the entire summer. I think it's great. I'm all for it. It's just a little bit unsettling that we don't have until November to spend endlessly speculating, to just have a summer of daydreams and fantasy about this game.
Yeah, this is quite a quick turnover, isn't it? So It was announced in February, I want to say. I don't know if I'm right, but I wanted to say it.
April 2nd.
Well, one of the months. I knew it was going to be one of the months.
Early April to mid-July. Yeah. Now, of course, as we've well documented here on the Kongversation, it's been in development for quite a long time, but it's announced in April, coming out in mid-July. So, yeah, obviously that's going to be the bulk of our coverage this summer. Donkey Kong Bananza. I hope you like Donkey Kong games.
I really enjoy Donkey Kong games, thank you. I hope you do too. I even like the Game & Watches.
Oh, look at you.
Especially Donkey Kong Circus.
Oh, you're such a hipster.
Especially.
So where does that leave the Nintendo Direct, where they would have announcements for later in the year? Well, I hate to speak such harsh truth when I've already done it vis-a-vis Everwild and Banjo Kazooie. I don't want to be the Killjoy or the Kilroy or the Fulgore when it comes to dampening the mood of Stinky Ape Summer, but we all need to face facts. I don't think we're going to have a new Donkey Kong game announced during this summer's Nintendo Direct. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get a new Donkey Kong game this November.
Doesn't seem likely.
Does that mean Nintendo doesn't care about the series anymore? That it's not a high priority for them? I mean, if you're ignoring everything else, then yeah, that's absolutely what it means.
It's true. If you do ignore everything else, then that is what it means. Yeah.
we've already, like, remember when Donkey Kong Country Returns HD was going to be the big game of the year?
Oh, those were the days back in January, if I've got the month right this time.
Yeah, a lot has changed in a very short amount of time for us. So,
Donkey Kong's had a facelift.
yeah, Donkey Kong regenerated in that time.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we're not going to get a new Donkey Kong game announced, and that's fine because we're getting a new Donkey Kong game this summer. But Mario Kart World, I want to circle back to that because, yes, it's out right now. Not that I get to play it anytime soon, according to FedEx, but Mario Kart World DLC. When?
Okay. Yeah.
When? Because I think the lack of Diddy Kong at launch, I think that will tip his hat that has the DD pin towards the idea that they are saving Diddy for timed DLC that may, in fact, coincide with a little game called Bananza. What do you think about that, Matt?
I'm just looking at the Mario wiki page for Mario Kart World. So it's confirmed then that Diddy Kong is not playable in the launch version.
To be fair, okay, I've been avoiding spoilers for Mario Kart World in the last 12 hours, so...
in that case, I won't tell you.
But it would also make this whole little bit of the podcast feel very foolish.
It will ruin the carefully structured narrative. Yes, okay. Well, what was your question?
Well, okay, but it wasn't a question. It was just more blind speculation.
I know, but it's funny to say that to someone who's not asked you a question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So what was your question?
It is. It really puts you on edge. So, okay. Diddy Kong, we actually got a little bit of news about this just the other day because our old friends at IGN, they had an article where they talked with Mario Kart World producer Kosuke Yabuki, which they had a typo at one point. They called him Kabuki, like the theater. Very embarrassing for IGN. Our standards are much higher than them, but they asked, where's Diddy Kong in the game? Because we've just seen Diddy Kong have this new redesign. Bit odd that Diddy Kong's not in Mario Kart World in it. Yabuki said, I'm afraid I can't say anything at this time.
Oh, being evasive about it.
Non-answer, but it probably means, yeah, Diddy's going to be DLC. Because people forget the original Mario Kart 8 had DLC. Even before it became 8 Deluxe and we had the Booster Course Pass, there was DLC for the original Mario Kart 8. It wasn't Diddy Kong. It was like Link and Animal Crossing.
Yeah. By the way, I'm still cross about Link and Villager from Animal Crossing being in it. I don't like that. It's probably not the forum to be talking about this, but I don't think there should be non-Mario universe characters.
Well, I like it. I like it because it...
I hate it!
Listen, you can point to that and say, well, yeah, Donkey Kong and friends are in it, and they're Donkey Kong universe characters. So...
Yes, but there's a trans-dimensional pipe that can get them to. How are people from Hyrule meant to get there?
The chest of time.
Trans-dimensional pipe.
The chest of time.
Master Hand's in control of that. He can't be wasting his time organising kart races. He's busy sorting fights out.
No. The Mushroom Kingdom, the royal family got control over a chest of time. And so they can use
multiple
it.
chests of time.
Yeah, they can use it for their own purposes, like pulling people from the past into Mario Kart.
To do some racing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they get Baby Mario and friends in there.
I remember I had a theory about Baby Mario and Luigi in the Mario Kart games et al., which was that, I don't know if you ever played Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I still like to imagine that game is a prequel to every game that has Baby Mario and Luigi in it, and it explains how they are in those games.
Oh, okay.
Problem
Yeah.
is, I can't really remember what the mechanism was by which the time travel is accomplished, because it's been a long time. Anyway, I digress. Please continue.
In Mario Golf in 1999, we initially had the theory that the baby Mario that showed up there was just Mario and Peach's love child.
It's a good theory.
We quickly retired that when the other babies started showing up.
Well, there could have been some prolific breeders.
I mean, yeah, we don't know what happens between Mario Party sessions.
No, we absolutely don't. Although now we will, because we get to drive between the tracks in Mario Kart World, available now on Switch 2.
Oh yeah, we get to see all the key parties the Mario Cast has. So, yeah, I do think they're saving Diddy. I think Diddy at the very least. Will we be getting a whole slew of Donkey Kong-based DLC timed around Bananza's release? I don't know. Like, I always like to think in those terms. And granted, Nintendo is going all in on Donkey Kong in a way we are not accustomed to. So in the past, we would be like, "Ooh, wouldn't it be nice if they would have all these big Donkey Kong themed events and like the year of Diddy Kong." Remember that one?
I do. A note of caution on this, by the way, would be the game Super Mario Party, which I bought fairly soon after getting the original Switch number 1, as it is now called. Accepting its limitations in the content department on account of me thinking, well, probably there'll be downloadable content for this. Probably there'll be more than 4 boards. There was not more than 4 boards.
Okay, but also Mario Kart is vastly more lucrative than Mario Party does well, but Mario Kart, especially after the lessons they learned from Mario Kart Tour, I think we are going to have a robust DLC lifespan for this game. And people don't like to hear that. People take umbrage at that because I already had to spend $80 on this game and almost $500 on a Switch.
Who's this character?
Oh, this is the Frugal consumer character I do.
Frugal consumer. That's a good YouTube channel. I always go on Frugal consumer.
Oh, and now Nintendo wants me to pay to get Diddy Kong in the game? I will not do it. We must take a stand for our financial stability. It's the Frugal consumer.
Yeah. He's so grumpy all the time.
He's so grumpy.
I love his channel.
And
I love his vids.
Meanwhile, I am so slutty for the DKU that I spent $40 to get Dixie Kong and Mario Kart Tour. Do you know this about me, Matt?
I saw you did this. Yeah. Is that tax deductible, I presume?
I was not running DK Vine as a business. Then I probably would deduct that from my taxes had I done it the previous year.
I mean, your taxes must be stressful, but hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did taxes this year, and I was deducting everything like I spent for DK Vine effectively. And it was kind of funny just remembering what it was and being like, oh, yeah, my life is a joke. But my point being, like, I had no problem spending that money on Dixie Kong because I'm a little...
It's the principle of the thing.
I'm a little strumpet when it comes to the DKU. I will just lap it up. And you can get Dixie Kong in Mario Kart Tour much more readily after the fact. Like, you can get her for free just by random chance, but you're still free. I did not need to spend $40 on Dixie Kong, but I was happy to do it to show Nintendo there is somebody out there that will spend $40 for Dixie Kong and Dixie Kong alone.
It's probably more money than you spent on any of the Donkey Kong Country games.
No, I mean, they were still, unless they were Player's Choice million seller discounted versions, like, they were still priced, I think, around $60 back then. But my point being, like, yes, people will be upset about DLC in Mario Kart World, which is why they're not talking about it yet. Which is why it hasn't even been broached by Nintendo. They are not going to dampen the launch of this game by getting into the DLC and upsetting the masses who are already trying to make the price of the Switch 2 a real sticking point.
Well, it's sort of fair enough in a way, isn't it? I remember the last time you had me on, we had a couple of calls, right, from people saying about how can Nintendo justify charging full price for a port during a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
There's some complaints of that ilk.
maybe it's because I'm a millennial, as are you, but maybe it's because I've lived through like 7 cost of living crises in my life, and I just now understand like we're never leaving this state of crisis. It's just like our generation has been screwed effectively. The ladder has been pulled up.
We're not being dismissive of that complaint, I don't think.
I'm not being dismissive,
anyway.
no. But what I'm saying,
not everyone's minted.
But what I'm saying is, I don't care because I don't buy video games that aren't DKU. So for me,
Yes.
like my budget does allow for, say, Donkey Kong based DLC in Mario Kart World, and oh yeah, that could include Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Dixie Kong, maybe the retro Donkey Kong Jr. (parentheses SNES). Maybe even the long-awaited Mario Kart edition of, drumroll please, Matt, can you give me a drum roll?
Okay. In fact, I've got some DK bongos up there if you'd like me to go and get those.
I would love you. Go get those. Go get those.
Just stretch out the duration of this episode even longer.
Matt's going to go get the DK bongos for that dramatic drum roll.
You ready?
Yes. Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong.
Was it worth it, everyone?
No, they're furious. Cranky Kong, maybe swanky, maybe chunky. I'm thinking in terms of the Super Mario Brothers movie, yes. I think Cranky would be an obvious addition at this point. It's a bit odd in it that we haven't had Cranky and Mario actually interact in any video game since they aged up Donkey Kong Sr. into Cranky Kong.
Yes, I'd like to see that, but I'd like to see it in a context where something is made of the fact that they are re-encountering one another. And I don't feel confident that's what would happen in such a circumstance.
At a certain point, nothing can match the expectations of your mind. Like Mario and Sonic finally crossing over, and it was with a long-running Olympic series.
Yes, it's a shame, isn't it? But yeah, I would be all in on a Mario versus Cranky Kong.
Oh yeah,
series
yeah.
Of games.
Skips in a live stream suggest a K. Rool Bananza / Kart duel reveal. Okay, so if K. Rool is indeed in Donkey Kong Bananza, as some of the evidence suggests, I don't think that's going to be broadcast ahead of time. I think it's going to be an in-game twist, and they don't want to market it. So I also don't think they would put K. Rool in Mario Kart. I really don't. I think they do want to keep some level of separation between the Donkey Kong and Mario IPs. And maybe having Donkey Kong's villain engage in Mario Kart would be a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, sort of every time a villain partakes in a game like this, it defangs them slightly, doesn't it? I think for the fact that Bowser appears in all these games as one of the playable characters, we all enjoy playing as Bowser.
We do.
It does slightly undermine his credibility as a baddie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, K. Rool was in Donkey Kong Barrel Blast / Jet Race.
That's true.
So,
yes.
But then look what happened after that. K. Rool retired in shame for a decade. So anyway, we could also see Odd Rock in Mario Kart World. I could see that being a possibility, but
how does Odd Rock drive the cart?
How does Cal drive the cart, Matt?
With her udders.
Oh, well, then Odd Rock needs to get some big tits.
I've always said so.
All right, there's a possibility they're going to announce a new cameo game, I don't know.
Stick another Mario Party in there. You can never have too many, can you not?
I don't think it's time for a Mario Party.
Yeah, it never is, but there is always one.
They've got the new Switch 2 edition of Jamboree that's coming out,
That's true.
like a week after Bananza?
Golf. Tennis, what about them ones?
I don't know. I feel so bad being dismissive of the Mario Golf and Mario Tennis games, but I
just want another one like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance ones.
Right.
I'm sure you're the same.
I'm the same, but
golf/tennis RPGs.
I really liked Mario Tennis Aces, but then I feel like Mario Golf Super Rush really just lost the plot. It was middling at best. There's enjoyable things about it, but it just, I don't know. I feel like Camelot might have just lost their spark a little bit.
Could this be the fall of Camelot?
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. There's always the possibility of cameo games. It's not very sexy. What is sexy is debating Nintendo Switch Online reveals. What games are being added to Nintendo Switch Online? Because now we have the GameCube as part of the infrastructure. GameCube. Now the GameCube, I know for a lot of our audience, that is the Nintendo system. For me, as somebody who is a little bit older and a little bit closer to the grave, it was the Nintendo 64. So
not that close. You're going to be 100.
Yeah, I know, but it's getting closer every day.
Yeah, that's true.
So the GameCube was kind of the era of the buyout and all of that drama. So I do have nostalgia for it, but it's kind of nostalgia with an asterisk. It's nostalgia that's like, yes, I'm nostalgic for this time in my life, but I'm not necessarily fond of the era of games that we were getting. That being said, I think we're both in agreement. Star Fox Adventures is a must.
Definitely. Yes, I was playing through it again maybe a year ago, and it is beautiful.
Yeah, it's unabashedly my favorite Star Fox game. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You can make fun of it all you want. You can be a smug little cynical bastard about it. I do not care. You're not going to rain on my enthusiasm. I love Little Tricky. I love the Warp Stone. I love Shabunga.
Why do you love him so much? What's so great about him?
His voice. The voice you are doing. It's like...
No, that's too rubbish.
It hits my erogenous zones. It makes me reach a sexual peak that I did not know I was capable of aspiring to.
I like that you're saying that about Shabunga rather than some other characters in this game.
Queen Earthwalker?
Like the Warp Stone, of course.
Yeah.
I presume, of course, you want Assault as well.
Oh, yeah. Even though we do have the GameCube, and there are other GameCube titles in contention, I would be surprised if we got Jungle Beat, if I'm honest, just because to really play Jungle Beat accurately, you need the DK bongos, and when Nintendo really re-released the DK bongos for your Nintendo Switch Online service, it's possible.
The idea of them doing that fills me with glee.
Yeah, they did patent new DK bongos maybe half a decade or more at this point, a while ago.
The idea that you'd have to patent those. Well, better make sure no one steals this idea.
Right. But I don't know. It would be a lot of overhead for something with very minimal returns. We talk about niches. That's a niche within a niche.
I know. I felt faintly ridiculous buying the Nintendo Switch N64 controller, but it's another level to go for the bongos.
Yeah. I already own so many original DK bongos. I have 5 pairs. I've talked about it whenever I would go home and visit my...
Oh, Hyle, 5 pairs of bongos. That's what we call him. That's 10 bongos in total.
Old 5 pairs of bongo Russell over there.
Old
Here
10 bongos Russell.
Yeah. Every time I would visit my parents and go home to my childhood home, which they just moved out of, I would find a new set of DK bongos. And I don't know where they were coming from. I didn't buy these. They just show up. There's some sort of portal in the attic that just continually spawns DK bongos. So I'd be like, well, I guess I'll take these with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you found a way to sort of propagate bongos. Some kind of magical bongo producing phenomenon.
Like whoever owns that house now will just be continually gifted with
Cursed
DK
with bongos.
Yeah. But anyway, I doubt we would see Jungle Beat. That's like an extreme possibility. Of course, I would love Star Fox Assault, but that would only be after Adventures. And then that just leaves, really, cameo games pertaining to the DKU. Like, yeah, we'll get Double Dash eventually, sure.
Melee, possibly.
Well, we've never gotten any past Smash Brothers, like Smash N64.
No, but I think Melee's particularly well thought of, isn't it? So I think there'd be a strong argument to include it.
Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah, but it is odd that they don't have Smash 64 on the Virtual Console, isn't it?
I also wonder if it's just like Smash Ultimate, they just want to preserve that as like the go-to definitive Smash
Maybe.
Brothers. And if they give people the option to go back and play their favorite Smashes of years past, then maybe that will like hurt the bottom line of Ultimate.
It's a shame though, because I think Smash 64 is different enough from the current iteration to be worth exploring in its own right.
Oh, I agree.
Oh well,
Talk about
I'm not
nostalgia.
in charge of these things. Did you know that? I'm not in charge of these things.
Even though the GameCube is the big, sexy new app for Nintendo Switch 2, they still haven't gotten around to adding all the N64 games they need to add. Matt? Because...
I know, right?
Yeah, we're waiting on a big one. Diddy Kong Racing is the big one I'm referring to. But...
I would argue, even though Diddy Kong Racing is my favourite computer game, that this one you're about to say, if it's the one I think it is bigger in terms of the public consciousness.
Donkey Kong 64?
That's the one.
Yeah, yeah. Donkey Kong 64, I mean, that's going to happen eventually, assuming there are no significant technical issues with emulating it on NSO plus expansion pack.
I love Donkey Kong 64, I feel I ought to say, because sometimes I feel like on this show it maybe doesn't get hated, but doesn't get unconditionally loved in the way I would like.
I think I just have to be a realist about it, you know, and people would not take me seriously if I just gushed about every single Donkey Kong game.
Oh, can you imagine if people didn't take you seriously?
I mean, it would be disastrous.
It would be an awful world. Well, it's okay. I don't mind taking the hit on that one. Donkey Kong 64 is so tied up with my initial introduction to the Donkey Kong universe that I happily overlook its flaws. In fact, I don't even recognize that it has flaws. I love it.
The thing about DK64, and this really happened with Banjo Tooie, I think my estimation, my esteem of it would rise just having the save state on my Nintendo console. Like, playing Banjo Tooie when it came to NSO last year, having the save state ability, the functionality, and just being able to save anywhere on the go and just jump right back into it, it really opened up Banjo Tooie and made me appreciate it a whole lot more than I had in recent years.
Sort of pick up and play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Donkey Kong 64, definitely. I mean, I'm very surprised it hasn't appeared on there already. Maybe it's to do with what you were talking about earlier about technical problems.
My theory too...
Surely this new console is powerful enough to mimic the expansion pack. I realize the expansion pack is a very powerful piece of hardware, but, you know, you never know. Very powerful.
My theory for like the last few years was, because I assumed the new Donkey Kong game was going to be a 3D game. And I thought maybe they don't want to lower expectations for what ultimately we found out was Bananza, because Donkey Kong 64 is such a divisive, some would say middling 3D game, that people would think that is what the new 3D Donkey Kong game would be. They don't want to remind people of Donkey Kong 64 when they've got a new 3D Donkey Kong game to sell. Just a theory.
Well, that's a horrible theory. I hate that.
Oh, well, I know. And look, I love a lot about DK64, and I do think we'll see it on NSO eventually. But I think it might be like they could do a whole big Donkey Kong Direct and being like, and yes, we are bringing Donkey Kong 64 to NSO. We are bringing Diddy Kong Racing to NSO. You are getting Odd Rock with the massive tits in Mario Kart World. You will play Diddy Kong's friend Conker when Conker's Bad Fur Day comes to Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack Mature 17 Plus.
Yeah, I hope for that one as well. Yeah, Bad Fur Day would be good, wouldn't it? There's literally no reason why it can't happen now. Literally. And I think you touched on this a little bit in your wonderful episode about the Idaho crew going to Japan, and when they were talking about the way the various Nintendo franchises are represented. Nintendo, I think, it seems to me, gets becoming less embarrassed about their history. And therefore, I don't know if the idea that they've held back Donkey Kong 64 out of embarrassment isn't necessarily the case.
Embarrassment might be an overstatement, but maybe it's also, like we were talking about with Smash Brothers, they don't want to cloud the market. Like, oh, here's this 3D Donkey Kong game you can play on your Switch. And it's part of this service you subscribe to when they want people to buy the new 3D Donkey Kong game they've had in development for several years. So maybe less embarrassment and more just worried about the frugal consumer.
I just can't understand the logic behind how they choose what gets put on that service.
Well, and that's also the problem, is trying to figure out logic when it comes to Nintendo, which historically, every time people have tried to predict what Nintendo is going to do, they zig when everybody expected them to zag.
It's very infuriating.
I like predictability. I don't like that ringing phone. I don't like the possibility that we'll start a Nintendo Direct and they'll shout, "Donkey Kong is dead!" So, Matt.
Hello, yes?
I think it's about time we crack open, or you crack open. I can't do it. I'm across the Atlantic. I think it's about time you crack open that Switch 2 box and tell us what's inside.
Yes. That's an exciting prospect, isn't it? Whilst I do this, you can check on your UPS tracking.
Okay.
FedEx. One of them. Post office. Right, here we go. I'm going to point the microphone at the box now. It's quite difficult to get into it.
God, this is good podcasting. Oh my God.
Right, I've got one of the cardboard flaps open.
We are
Had a
such
bit of sellotape on it.
disruptors.
Pulling it out. There's another box inside the box.
Two
There's just going to
boxes.
be boxes forever.
That's where all the money's going. That's the value. You get a second box with your primary box.
Opened another flap.
3 boxes? Comes old three box Cornah.
So I can confirm it contains a Switch 2. Right, do you know how sometimes you'll get a box of biscuits and the biscuits box will have like a layer of cardboard, and you remove that layer of cardboard and underneath is a whole nother load of biscuits?
Yeah.
There's more things underneath the Switch 2.
Are they biscuits?
Oh, there's all kinds of things. There's a power supply, the thing that the controllers go in. Oh, it's a treasure trove of bits and bobs.
One more thing, Matt.
That's the end of my unboxing.
One more question about
Yes,
your
go on.
box.
Yes.
Is Donkey Kong Racing on the back?
Oh.
This would be a great scoop if we could confirm Donkey Kong Racing is back in development and coming to the Nintendo Switch 2.
Right. Well, the thing is, it says Nintendo Switch 2 on both sides. It doesn't have a discernible back.
Oh. Now I am nostalgic for the GameCube. I just got a text. I was going in to check the tracking number. I just got a text. Because on my tracking, it says it's in Richmond, Virginia. The Switch 2 is in Richmond, Virginia. And then
That's the state you're in!
That's the state I am in. And I just got a text from Best Buy. And it says, your package will arrive today! According to UPS, by 9 p.m.
This might be quite a long podcast, but I can wait.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.